Second line of defense. In our previous videos, we have discussed a generalized difference between innate and adaptive immunity. The component of innate immunity, there is first line of defense and second line of defense, and also the detailed explanation of first line of defense, there is skin and mucous membrane. So today we are going to discuss second line of defense that include defensive cell, that is phagocytic cells, and inflammation, fever, and antimicrobial substance. Before going into all the details, first we will discuss the cellular component of blood and lymphatic system. Let's discuss the cellular component of blood. The major constituents of blood are a fluid that is also called a plasma. Formed elements mean cell and cell fragments suspended in the plasma. The formed elements of blood are mainly erythrocytes that are also called red blood cells, leukocytes which are also called white blood cells, and platelets. As you all know that erythrocytes are responsible for transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide, and these red blood cells contain heme group that are involved in binding of oxygen and carbon dioxide, while the other component, that is platelet, is responsible for blood clotting. Whereas the main role in immune system as a second line of defense system is played by leukocyte. So here first we will discuss in detail about white blood cells, which are also called leukocytes. On the basis of their appearance under light microscope, these cells are categorized into granulocytes and agranulocytes. In granulocytes, large granules can be seen when these cells are stained and observed under light microscope. The other category of leukocyte, that is agranulocyte, also contain granules, but these are not visible under light microscope after staining. Now let's see how we can categorize these granulocytes. On the basis of staining, these granulocytes are differentiated into three types of cells: neutrophils, basophils, and eosinophils. When neutrophils are stained with a mixture of acid and basic dyes, it's stained pale lilac, while basophils stain blue-purple when it is stained with a basic dye methylene blue. Whereas eosinophils stain orange or red with acidic dye eosin. Now let's talk about neutrophils. These are commonly called polymorphonuclear leukocytes, abbreviated as PMNS, or polymorphs. Since poly means many, so the term here used to show that neutrophils contain 2 to 4 lobes. These neutrophils are highly phagocytic and motile and active in initial stage of infection. The second type of granulocyte is basophil. These cells release histamines that are important in allergic responses and inflammation. The third type of granulocytic cells are eosinophils. These are somewhat phagocytic and have the ability to leave the blood. Their main function is to produce toxin protein against parasites like helminths. These are too small to engulf helminth, but they attack to the outer surface of helminth and release peroxide ions to destroy them. The number of eosinophils increases during parasitic infection and also during allergic reactions, which are called hypersensitivity. Now let's talk about the other type of leukocytes, that is agranulocytes. Agranulocytes are categorized into three types of cells, that is, monocytes, dendritic cells, and lymphocytes. Monocytes are not originally phagocytic, but it has the ability to enter into the circulatory system. When it leaves this circulatory system and enters into a tissue, there it matures to form a macrophage, which is actually a phagocytic cell. When the blood and limbs that contain microorganisms pass through these organs that contain macrophages, then the microbes are removed by the phagocytic activity of these macrophages. These macrophages not only remove microbes, but it also dispose of old worn out blood cells. Another type of agranulocytic cells are dendritic cells. It is believed that dendritic cells are derived from monocytes. They have long extensions. These long extensions resemble the dendrites of nerve cells. That's why they are named as dendritic. These dendritic cells are found in enormous number in epidermis of skin, mucous membrane, thymus, and lymph node. Like macrophages, dendritic cells are also phagocytes. Through phagocytosis, they destroy the foreign microbes and also involved in initiation of adaptive immune system. We will discuss about that system in our later lectures. The third type of agranulocytes are lymphocytes that include natural killer cells and abbreviated as NK cells. These cells are normally found in blood, spleen, lymph nodes, and red bone marrow. Natural killer cells have a unique property. Whenever these cells find a body cell that displays abnormal or unusual plasma membrane protein, then these natural killer cells attack on these abnormal cells. That's the reason that these natural killer cells can kill a variety of infected and tumor cells. The natural killer cell attacks the host cell by either producing toxin or through cytolysis or apoptosis. Now let's discuss the detail of all these methods. A natural killer cell, when bind with human cell, it induces the release of toxin from a vesicle present inside the natural killer cell and thus kill the targeted host cell. Let's see how does cytolysis occur due to natural killer cells. Some granules of natural killer cells contain a specialized protein called perforin. Natural killer cells insert perforin into the plasma membrane of host's target cell and create channels in these membranes. Due to these channels, extracellular fluid enters into the host cell and the cell bursts due to cytolysis. The third method is apoptosis. Some other granules of natural killer cell release an enzyme called granzyme. These granzymes are actually proteins digesting enzymes. These protein digesting enzymes induce the host target cell to undergo self-destruction, which is called apoptosis. There are some other cells called B cells and T cells that are actually non-phagocytic and also involved in adaptive immunity. We will discuss about these cells in our later lectures. In our next lecture, we will discuss about other factors of second line of defense. Keep watching. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to our channel and click on bell icon for more videos.